All right, we're not going to wait any longer for Troy. He'll be here in a few minutes. So we're going to get the meeting started. Would you all rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone, and welcome. Public comments. We have any, Christine? Okay, no public comments that are signed up, but if someone would like to come forth and make a public comment, this would be the time to do so, preferably something that's not on the agenda. Any public comments? All right, hearing none, we'll go on with the meeting. Next item on the agenda is consent calendar. Council, how would you like to proceed?
I'll move to approve the consent calendar as presented.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the consent calendar as submitted. Any other questions or comments? Oh, and by the way, I was remiss, Jacob Niebergall, our city councilor, is virtual. So with being no comments, I'll call for the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, it passes. Thank you. We have presentations this evening. First one is appreciation of Bob Dillard's service and support to the Water Quality Division. Mike and Risha, are you going to make the presentation? It's good to see you here this evening, Bob. And Joanna.
All righty. So for 26 years, a private contractor operated and maintained and managed the city's storm and sewer system. In June 2021, the city took back these responsibilities and formed the Water Quality Division within the Public Works Department. In order to do this transition and create this new division, the city relied on assistance of several experts in the water quality field. One of these experts was Bob Dillard. Bob has been providing consulting services with the city since then and sharing his expertise and experience with the Water Quality Division. The city appreciates his support over these last 4 years and wishes to acknowledge his dedication and commitment to the water quality and ensuring the city's successful transition in operating, maintaining, managing, and the complex water quality system. Having his expertise has been instrumental for us all in making the city's water quality such a success. Having him to bounce ideas off of and help with new operators has also been very valuable. He helps multiple cities like ours, and what we consider a small world of wastewater is definitely in a better place because of it. He's very helpful. And while we're saying goodbye tonight, we will still definitely be calling him because he said we could, and getting his expertise. And he'll be very missed, but I'm certain he'll come and still say hi and hang out and see how things are going.
Yes, happy. Thank you, Bob.
Yeah.
Your staff has been great. Oh,
Yeah, so we can show everyone.
your staff's been great. They took on quite an undertaking. Most people wouldn't want to do, and they've done a great job. The plants are both running great. The system's working great. They've done a really good job. They've taken ownership, and I think that's what you guys really wanted.
No, I think you're right. We've been very pleased, and it's great to hear it from you. Besides Bob doing this water quality division for us, he also worked for North Bend, and I was on the water board for numerous years. And I think in our discussions, you mentioned there's 7 other entities that you will take calls from, right? So you will still be involved to some degree, even though Joanna said she wants to make sure she travels and has some good time. Bob, remember that.
I'm trying to find her a friend.
Thank you for all you have done for the community and for us.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
Next item on the presentation is a recognition of retirement of firefighter engineer Jason Wilson, and Chief Atkins is going to make the presentation. I didn't recognize you, Jason. You weren't in the regular attire.
Yeah, usually I look like that.
So good evening. Thanks for letting us come and honor Jason tonight. Firefighter engineer Jason Wilson's last day with the City of Coos Bay will be July 31st. Jason began his fire service journey in the fall of 1993 with Merle Point Fire. He was serving as a sleeper with Coos Bay from January to June of 94 while attending Chemeketa College in Salem. He continued serving with Merle Point Fire and Ambulance until May of 1998 when he joined Coos Bay Fire and Rescue. During that time, he also worked 2 seasons with Coos Forest Protective Association, gaining valuable wildland experience. Over the years, Jason earned his bachelor's degree in fire service administration from Western Oregon University and became a licensed EMT intermediate. He holds certifications as a hazmat technician, NFPA Fire Officer 4, rope rescue technician, surface water rescue technician, and confined space operator. Also, he's a drone pilot. So he's played a key role in the department's specialty teams over the years. Jason has received numerous awards, including Firefighter of the Year, the Fire Department Training Award, and the General Alarm Attendance Award, which recognizes the firefighter who responds to the most structure fires in a year. He spent several years ensuring our apparatus were ready to respond as our vehicle maintenance coordinator and led our fire prevention efforts with creativity, including moving our messaging during COVID online into Facebook since we weren't able to be in the schools. So with that, we'd like to present Jason with the plaque.
Oh. Cool.
So it says, in recognition of your 27 years of dedicated service to the citizens of Coos Bay, your commitment to excellence, and your steady presence within Coos Bay Fire and Rescue. Thank you for your service, your stories, and the example you have set for all of us. With gratitude from Coos Bay Fire and Rescue and IFF Local 2935.
Awesome. We'll just get some pictures.
Sure.
I really don't have anything to say other than you guys are going to be in good hands. So I'm leaving here and I'm happy. And so after all these years, so anyhow, you guys are in good hands. These guys are awesome. Your public safety in Coos Bay is stellar. So you guys should be proud of them. So I sure am. So anyhow, that's all I have to say.
Well, Jason, you have been instrumental, and we really appreciate what you've done. And you're correct. We're lucky to have the public safety and fire and police both. So thank you so much for serving for us. You're going to get that picture, somebody, I hope.
Jason,
Got it?
I'm gonna bring back the Wayback Machine.
Yeah.
As I remember working with you at CFPA.
Yeah.
You had so much energy so far. It's like that guy's going somewhere. So you did. So thanks. I appreciate it. It's been fun to kind of watch over the decades.
Thank you.
Yeah. I don't want to mention being decades. I didn't have as much gray hair.
It's been decades, Troy.
Yeah. You still look 22.
Yeah. You have more hair than me.
All right, so we also are recognizing Senior Officer Robert Schofield for 33 years of service. Chief Chapinar, you're going to be handling this?
I'll have Senior Officer Rob Scoville come up, and if I could, have his wife Amy come up too. Sorry, Amy. Rob was supposed to tell you, or I doubt he did. Thank you for letting us have a few moments here to recognize Senior Officer Rob Scoville and his 33 years of dedicated service as a law enforcement officer. And so I'm going to tell you a little bit about Rob. July 1st, 2025, Senior Officer Robert Scoville of the Coos Bay Police Department retired after 33 years of service. Senior Officer Scoville started his law enforcement career in March of 1990, where he was hired at the North Bend Police Department. It didn't take Senior Officer Rob Scoville very long to promote through the ranks. In 1992, he was promoted to the rank of corporal. In February of 1994, Senior Officer Scoville was hired with the Coos Bay Police Department, where he continued his law enforcement career. In 2011, Senior Officer Scoville left the Coos Bay Police Department and was hired at the Coquille Hill Tribal Police and remained there for almost 10 years. In February of 2020, Senior Officer Scoville returned, and we were happy with that, returned back to the Coos Bay Police Department and remained there the rest of his career in law enforcement. During his time as a law enforcement officer, Senior Officer Scoville served in many roles, as you could imagine. Almost every role that you could fulfill as a police officer, Rob filled that role. And he did an amazing job at all of them. He worked as a watch commander, and forgive me if I've forgotten a few. He worked as a watch commander, a defensive tactics instructor, a field training officer, trained a lot of our officers. He was a canine officer for both patrol and detection, which I don't think we've ever had that before. He was a master trainer with the Oregon Police Officers Canine Association, and I think he's going to remain in that role for a little bit. He was assigned to investigations. He was a member of several special teams. He was assigned to South Coast Interagency Narcotics Team, SENT, for a period of time. He's a certified motorcycle officer. And his most recent assignment, and one I thought he did an outstanding job at, was he was assigned to our school as our school resource officer. One of Officer Scoville's most notable trait was his huge positive attitude and his mentorship that he brought to the entire department. Senior Officer Rob Scoville holds his basic, intermediate, and advanced law enforcement certificates through Oregon Department of Public Safety Standards and Training. He has been married to his lovely wife, Amy, for 31 years. And together they have 2 adult sons. And interestingly, both Ryan and Nolan are police officers with the Coos Bay Police Department as well. And they are both canine handlers as well. So I thought that was kind of cool. Senior Officer Scoville exemplifies what it is to be a Coos Bay police officer. And he will surely be missed. The city of Coos Bay congratulates and thanks Senior Officer Scoville for his 33 years of dedicated service to the Coos County citizens and the city of Coos Bay and the Coos Bay Police Department. And it is with great honor and on behalf of the Coos Bay Police Officers Association and Coos Bay Police Department, is with great honors to present you with this shadow box. And the shadow box, and actually we thought it would be kind of cool, is if your 2 sons present you with this shadow box. If you guys want to take it out of this, I'm going to say, but I'm going to read to you what it says. It says, in recognition of 33 years of exemplary service as a law enforcement professional with the North Bend, Coquille Hill Tribal, and Coos Bay Police Departments, your loyal and dedicated service to the citizens of Coos County and Coos Bay is sincerely valued and appreciated. And we just want to congratulate you for that and thank you. Wait, there's more. And also, in addition, Department of Public Safety, on behalf of Department of Public Safety Standards and Training and the City of Coos Bay Police Department, we also wanted to present you with a recognition of service award. The Department of Public Safety Standards and Training extends its sincere appreciation for you and your years to the citizens of Oregon and the public safety profession. Many dedicated individuals has helped elevate the public safety profession in Oregon to a position of honor and esteem. The department commends you for your contributions. Your personal efforts have created and maintained a state in which service, safety, and quality of life are more than ideas. These standards will continue for such a future generations. So it's a recognition of service award to Robert Scoville. And Amy, we would also, on behalf of Department of Public Safety Standards and Training and the City of Coos Bay and Coos Bay Police Department. We would also like to present you with Appreciation Award. A career in public safety requires a great deal of support, sacrifice, and understanding. Your influence and dedication to Robert Scoville is greatly appreciated. Your unfailing support and understanding helped to make possible the lasting contributions to both the people of Oregon and the public safety community. It is in grateful appreciation on behalf of all public safety professionals, we want to thank you.
Can we have a speech?
I would just like to thank everybody. It's not too often you get to do a job you love. And I got to for 33 years. And thank you very much. I appreciate everybody.
Well, thank you, Rob. Yeah, we can take comments.
Wanted his dad.
All right, so next item on the agenda is consideration to approve Farmers Market Week proclamation. Harv, are you going to be reading it?
I thought that young gentleman was coming up there to read the proclamation.
Yeah. I get it.
He'd probably do a better job. And to be honest, before I start with the proclamation, I probably should acknowledge the person who should be doing this is our farmers market manager. Mel Hauster has done a wonderful job of keeping that program alive and thriving. She's got a situation where at home with, quite honestly, her husband has some serious health issues. And so that's why Mel isn't here to read the proclamation tonight. Also, she has to be up at 4 o'clock in the morning to set up tomorrow's market. So with that, the proclamation is going to focus primarily, of course, on the farmers, and rightfully so, because it is the Farmers Week. But the market does bring more to our community. I mean, it's part of what we're trying to do with the Coos Bay Downtown Association is make our downtown thrive. And to be honest, I don't think there's any activity that we do that has more people thriving in our downtown, except on Wednesday in the farmers market. So, and in addition to that, it's not going to be talking about in the proclamation. It's an incubator. We have so many people now who are starting their businesses at home remotely. The farmers market provides a chance for those innovators to do their work. So we want to recognize that. With regard to the proclamation, whereas Coos Bay and Coos County farmers and ranchers provide citizens with access to helpful, locally and regionally produced foods through farmers markets, which are expanding and evolving to accommodate the demand for a diverse array of agricultural products. And whereas farmers markets and other agricultural direct marketing outlets provide infrastructure to assist in the distribution of farm and value-added products, therefore contributing approximately $9 billion each year to the U.S. economy. Whereas farmers markets serve as significant outlets by which small and medium and new and beginning and veteran agricultural producers market agricultural products, generate revenue that supports the sustainability of family farms and the revitalization of rural communities nationwide. Whereas the Coos Bay City Council recognizes the importance of expanding agricultural marketing opportunities that assist and encourage the next generation of farmers and ranchers, generate farm income to help stimulate the business development and job creation, build community connections through rural and urban linkages, and more.
Now therefore, I, Joe Benetti, the mayor of Coos Bay, city of Coos Bay, do hereby proclaim August 3rd to the 9th, 2025 to be Coos Bay's Farmers Markets Week in conjunction with the observance of National Farmers Market Week. During this week, I call upon Coos Bay citizens to celebrate farmers markets and with appropriate observance and activities. With that being the case, council, if I can get a motion in seconds to
Make a
approve.
motion to approve the proclamation designating August 3rd through 9th, 2025 as Coos Bay Farmers Market Week.
Second.
And yeah, you know, Harv, you mentioned it's an incubator, but besides that, it draws a lot of people down to the area. It's wonderful to see the activity. Last week, I think 2 weeks ago, I was walking and I talked to the downtown manager, farmers market, and she was telling me there's 86 vendors and they expect to have more. So it's quite unique to have such a farmers market that's that popular and well seen and done, and it does wonders for our community. So thank you. Anyone else? That being the case, I will call for the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, it passes. Harv, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Next item on the agenda is a public hearing for consideration of supplemental budget for 2025-2026 fiscal year. And Nicole, you will go through give us the details on this supplement, and then we'll open up public hearing.
Yes. So tonight, what's being presented to you is a supplemental budget, making some adjustments to the originally adopted budget that was approved in June. We do this often throughout the year when there's some unexpected revenues come in or an event that requires us to come back to you and get authorization to expend funds. The resolution that's presented tonight does a couple of things. It first of all carries over a couple of grants, which we believed were going to be expended by June 30th. However, they're coming into this next fiscal year and we need to have appropriation authority in this year. Those are related to the Homeless Response Office, and we do think those are closing out in this next year. So the next thing is really a request that kind of stemmed up from the work that the Parks Commission has been doing. Right now, the Parks Commission operations budget sits in the general fund and its capital budget sits in the capital improvement fund. And while that is completely in line with accounting standards, it does make it a little bit more complicated for this really robust group to do some work and see their efforts all in one place. So we've had some discussions internally and determined that it might make better sense for them to be able to operate and manage a budget if it was in its own fund. So we're doing that. It makes the resolution a little bit busy because you're having to take monies appropriated in a couple funds and put them into another. So that's kind of why it's a busy resolution. So what we're asking for is for you to review the resolution, open up a public hearing, and then hopefully adopt the resolution, which will amend the originally adopted budget.
All right, with that being the case, I'm going to open the public hearing. Do we have any comments or on this supplemental budget? Seeing none, I'm going to close the public hearing, and then council, how would you like to proceed?
I move to adopt resolution 2525, adopting a supplemental budget for fiscal year 25-26.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the supplemental budget of 2025-26 fiscal year that's been proposed and before us. You want to do a roll call? Nope, just resolution? All right. All right. With that being the case, is there any other discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the question. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, it passes. Thank you. All right, next item is consideration to approve fiscal year 2025-2026 proposed road projects. Jennifer.
Thank you. Okay, so staff is going to recommend 3 road projects to be done this fiscal year. If council approves these projects, we intend to bid these projects as one item. Christine is going to bring up a PowerPoint for us because we have some exhibits that we can show you. I'll start talking about the first project. Thank you. If you can just go to the second slide. Okay, so the first project is South 8th Street between Central Avenue and Anderson Avenue. This is behind McKay's. The project is proposed to include the complete reconstruction of the South 8th Street roadway. The project will install 2 new ADA compliant curb ramps at the Anderson Avenue end of the project. And then it'll also remove and replace the curb and gutters as well as 1 new driveway apron on the west side of the street. Can you go to the next slide? So the second project is South 5th Street between Golden Avenue and Hall Avenue. This project is proposed to include the complete reconstruction of the South 5th Street roadway, Hall Avenue, to approximately 50 feet south of Golden Avenue. This project will remove and replace the curb and gutters. And then the last project, we got North Wasson between Grant Avenue and Taylor Avenue. And this is a grind and inlay project. The proposed work will include the removal of the top 2 inches of the road surface and replace with 2 2-inch lifts. If approved, staff will contract with an engineering consultant to perform design with construction anticipated spring of 2026. The budget funding for this project, staff estimates $1.24 million for these 3 projects. And we have 2 funding sources, both in Fund 2. The first funding source is construction streets. That's primarily funded by state gas tax. And the second funding source is the transportation utility fee. I can answer any questions.
Okay, and so these are, you already said you went out for bid on these?
No.
You're
So
going,
we're bringing these to you for your consideration before we move forward.
okay. Council, questions and discussion about these projects that's being proposed?
Quick question, Jennifer. How do you guys evaluate and decide which projects go first and when?
So we have a pavement index report that actually analyzes all the roads. And so these are rated as very deficient to poor, as well as we go off staff observations and citizen concerns.
Okay, so there's a metrics to it. You just didn't pull a paper out of a hat.
I'm sorry?
You didn't just pull a paper out of a hat.
No.
Thank you.
Jennifer, I have a question, not necessarily about these projects, but I see that we're spending 500,000 of the transportation utility fees, which were used for streets and potholes. So my question is, how many potholes are we going to fill this year with those TUF funds?
So I don't have that exact number, but Greg came earlier this year and we've already bid the 2025 pothole project that came in to the budget that Greg estimated. I believe it was around $200,000.
Okay.
And then just today we opened up the 2025 fall streets projects. And that came in a little over budget. So we're coming back in August for your approval. And so total of those 2 projects are right at $500,000.
Okay.
So annually, we bring in just under $1 million in transportation utility fees. So we're right there if you approve these projects.
Great. Would you mind sending to Counselor what that number of potholes is?
I
Forgive
will.
me, I
I
don't
will.
remember.
I think it was like over 100. Maybe I'm just shooting from the hip,
Yeah,
but I
and
think it was close to that.
It's number and square footage. So I'll send
Right.
you both because
Okay.
they're both important.
Yeah, I think it's important that we, recognize that tough fees pay for part of this besides gas tax. And so that's something that this council initiated, I don't know how many years ago, but it's done a lot of good throughout the community and really upgraded our streets to a better spot. All right, was that the case, being the case? Any other?
Did have one comment on the North Wasson Street proposal. Have you looked at the next block up where it makes that curve around that house? Because that section of roadway seems much worse than that block, but I'm not an engineer. It just looks like there's the asphalt's actually doing this, like it's built on sand or
Mhm.
something. So I was surprised that that section is.
This one rated higher, but we can come back with a more robust discussion at the next council meeting if you would like. We also were limited by budget.
Right.
But we definitely can come back and do a comparison, and you guys can direct staff if you prefer.
I mean, it's 6 to 1, half dozen to the other, but I do see that that is degrading pretty fast there. And there's a lot of traffic that uses that to access those homes.
You're not wrong.
So what?
I know I just threw it out there. I just wondered if they had looked at that.
Is it on your list? I'm sure it is.
Yes, we're monitoring it.
All right. So why don't you, if you just want to reevaluate it, I would say Jennifer, but if not on this cycle, I'm sure it would be on the next year's cycle to take care of, hopefully. Everyone in agreement with that?
Fine.
Okay. All right. With that being the case, do you need action from us, or you just need a nod, or what do we need?
If it pleases council, approve staff's recommended approach to the proposed 2026 road capital improvement projects.
I have a motion I recommend we approve staff's recommended approach to the proposal for 2026 road capital improvement projects.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the 25-26 proposed road projects by staff. Any other comments? Hearing none, I'll call for the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, it passes. Thank you, Jennifer. Consideration to approve amendment to the intergovernmental agreement with Coos Bay, North Bend, Charleston Visitor and Convention Bureau. Nicole.
Yes, thank you. So many of you probably know that we contract out many services across the city that we just don't have staffing for. One of those is the management operation of our Visitor Information Center, and we've done that historically for a number of decades. It was with the Chamber of Commerce for a while, and in 2018 we moved to the Visitor and Convention Bureau to operate and manage. At that point, we entered into an agreement, and that agreement included us contributing 50% of our TLT revenues, our transient lodging tax revenues, to the VCB for both our contribution under a separate IGA that formed the entity, and then also for the management and operation of the visitor center. At the time, that was pretty reasonable, but then the board brought in a superstar, and Janice is really causing those revenues to increase. And so we started this conversation with Roger a couple of years ago. Are there ways we could use some of those dollars to improve our own amenities here, which also would support tourism, while also recognizing, this engine that we've developed here is pretty important to support VCB. So we started having that conversation, and we've arrived at liking to settle back to the same arrangement that the other partners in the VCB have, along with contributing the portion that's necessary to operate and manage the VIC, including a management fee for them. So that's what's being presented to you tonight, is just kind of work those new numbers, contribution rates into the agreement. We have been working with Janice, the executive director at the VCB, in order to kind of put this together. There's not a lot of elements other than, really the dollars are the difference there. We did do a look back this afternoon on what that means to the city. We might remember that a worldwide event happened in the last 5 years, which makes our TLT dollars a little bit interesting to kind of look at trends with COVID, the pandemic. But averaging over the years, we could be looking at, $100,000 to $175,000. So about $140,000 could potentially come back into our dollars for, we would maybe recommend focus on the boardwalk, or, obviously look at some things that you guys also might see as important for our tourism amenities here. Not intending to bring that in for staff, but definitely projects which would encourage tourism. So
Nicole, if I remember correctly, it was some members of this council who wanted to support that 50%. At the time, we weren't at the current tax rate that we're at. So, and we were at a deficit with other communities in what they were doing, especially on the North Coast, how they were promoting. So that was one way in which we could help try to raise those funds to promote the area. Glad that it's been wildly successful. Glad to see that, we have an increased tax, so now more monies go to the Visitor and Conventions Bureau. So I feel like this is a really good time to do this because it's not taking away. So just so everyone understands, we're not changing the formula. We as a city had just agreed to give a little bit more. And so now we're going to use those funds to improve our tourism assets. For example, the boardwalk. And I would be a huge proponent, and I would ask this council to be a proponent of it as well, is to really focus those dollars, a great portion of them, on the boardwalk. It is where people, when they arrive here, it's the first thing that they see. And I know that I feel like painting, some plantings, some real simple things that can really make a difference. And it's really pride of community for me. And I feel when I walk that boardwalk that it doesn't really acknowledge the pride that we have in this community. So thanks.
Yeah, just to follow up on Lucinda's comment, for a little history. So when we got on the council in 2016, three of us are here now, and then others came on. We felt it was important that tourism really needed to be addressed because at that time we didn't have an executive director. We had nobody. And it was a volunteer type situation. And it was, in my opinion, floundering. And so we reappropriated some of the funds that we were collecting and shifted them back over for promotion. And it's proven successful. I'm a big advocate, and you all know of TLT, but here is a proven success of making it happen. And so now it's appropriate to move those funds back and put them in a place where they can generate and be beneficial to the city in other ways, like the boardwalk or wherever it may be. So this is the time to do it. But again, this is what using those funds in the right way can be successful. So anyway, I think it's great that we're doing this and that we have this opportunity to use these funds in another way. So other comments or questions by anyone? And the other thing, I've talked to Nicole and some of the others. I think that when we do with these funds, the boardwalk, and I support that also, that we might want to think about contracting out. And the reason I say that, because I don't think we have the capacity with our staff and enough staff on board to handle these type of things. And so sometimes I think we need to be, think outside the box and look at contracting to help supplement our staff and help them. Because I know this council keeps pushing on more projects and more things to be done, and it really puts pressure on. So finding a way to contract out to relieve that a little bit might be helpful. So just a suggestion. Anyway, do you want us to go ahead and approve this? Yeah, we need to approve this agreement.
So make a motion that we approve the amendment to the intergovernmental agreement with the Coos Bay, North Bend, Charleston Visitor and Convention Bureau for the operation and management of the Coos Bay Visitor Center.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the amendment with the intergovernmental agreement with the Coos Bay, North Bend, Charleston Visitors Convention Bureau. Are any other comments? Hearing none, I'll call for the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, passes. Thank you. Next item is consideration of addendum for Plant 2 outfall design project. Jennifer, always something in wastewater. But I'm glad that we handle it properly and we're able to do these things. So we appreciate it.
Thank you. In 2024, the city was working on 3 major capital water quality projects that were funded by wastewater revenue. So in other words, they weren't loan funded. They were called Pump Station 6, Pump Station 9, and the Plant 2 outfall replacement projects. Pump Station 6 and 9 were bid together with an original contract amount of just over $3.2 million. Midway through construction, the wet well in Pump Station 6 collapsed and had to be redesigned and incorporated into the construction project. This change order increased the total contract amount to just over $5 million. Staff was also working on pre-design for the Plant 2 outfall replacement project. The pre-design contract for this project was approximately $740,000, which included permitting. It was anticipated that pre-design would be complete in 2024, and then final design would commence winter of 2024-2025. However, with the significant change order caused by the wet well failure at Pump Station 6, this outfall design process was placed on hold. So Jacobs is the engineer for the Plant 2 outfall replacement project. They recommended that since the bulk of the permitting was done, that the city should move forward with the geotechnical work and the underwater survey, both of which were not included in the original pre-design contract. They stated the geology and topography would not change, but the permitting may expire before the city had funds to continue this project. Staff agreed and authorized the work. At the same time, staff was also working on the Oregon Department of Environmental Quality, DEQ, on the renewal of the National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System permit for Plant 2. So the city performed a video inspection of the Plant 2 outfall in 2023, which was a requirement of the city's current NPDES permit. The video showed major deficiencies with the outfall. This was the reason that the city initially commenced forward with the pre-design efforts for the outfall replacement project. DEQ stated during the permit renewal process in fall of 2024 that since the outfall was deficient, they would not recognize the current mixing zone study on file. A mixing zone study models the dilutions that occur at the end of the outfall when it discharges to a receiving water. In the city case, this is the bay. The ramifications of DEQ not recognizing the dilution rates of the existing outfall had the potential to cause more stringent effluent requirements, increased effluent parameters, along with a compliance schedule to replace the existing outfall. More stringent effluent limits, increased effluent parameters, and a strict compliance schedule had the potential of significantly higher operation costs over the next 5-year permit cycle. Staff presented this issue to council in November 2024, and it was decided to perform an emergency repair on the existing outfall. This was completed in early January. So, however, shortly after the repair on the existing outfall was completed, DEQ stated they did not agree with the current mixing zone study that was on file. DEQ then made some conservative assumptions, and as a result, the city was still facing more stringent effluent limits and increased effluent parameters in the new draft permit. Unfortunately, this forced the city to perform a new mixing zone study based on the existing outfall and updated information obtained from the underwater survey and the emergency repair project. The study was updated and ultimately approved by DEQ, and the proposed increased effluent limits and effluent parameters were removed from the new draft permit. The geotechnical analysis, underwater survey, mixing zone study, and meetings with DEQ to discuss the mixing zone study were not included in the original scope of work associated with the pre-design for the Plant 2 outfall replacement project. So as a result, Jacob needs an addendum, and staff is bringing this addendum to council after the work has already been performed. The original contract amount for the Plant 2 replacement project was just over $740,000. When staff stopped work due to the additional funds that had to be expended on Pump Station 6, the Jacobs contract was only 31% expended. The geotechnical work and the underwater survey was an additional $211,000, and the mixing zone analysis and support with DEQ for the permit renewal was an additional $81,000. The total amount is $292,741. So at this time, Plant 2's outfall, while old, is functioning with the repair that was performed last year, although there is no guarantee of how long this repair will last. The outfall replacement project is still on hold due to funding, but is anticipated that design for this project may need to commence during the next 5-year permit cycle. Staff is recommending an after-the-fact approval of Addendum 1 for the pre-design for the Plant 2 outfall replacement project. So staff knew that this addendum was coming. This was planned for and included in this fiscal year's budget.
Okay, so that's quite a lengthy report because I think it was quite a repair and alternative solution to something that otherwise would have been a $5 million repair. Am I correct?
Correct.
And so DEQ has approved this at this time?
Yes, right. They've accrued and they've accepted.
So we know that we're going to have facing something down the road at some period of time, and hopefully we can find some funds that some grant funds somewhere maybe to help facilitate this, right?
And we are budgeting.
Good. All right. Anyway, I think it's great. Also, Charleston Sanitary District pays for part of this?
25% approximately is their proportionate share. Yes.
All right. Thank you. Council, questions? If not, I need a motion.
I move to approve the Jacobs addendum for Plant 2 outfall project for an amount not to exceed $292,741.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the addendum for Plant 2 outfall design project. Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, I'll call for the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, it passes. Thank you. Nicole, city manager's report.
All right, just a couple of things. I first wanted to say I'm thankful that I was able to attend the SCDC's 25th anniversary celebration. It was a great event. It was an honor to be sitting in that space as one of the entities who went all in for that organization at the very beginning. I didn't realize the depth by which the city of Coos Bay, like always, steps up and does the right thing to start something. It's got a lot of momentum, and so it's just amazing to be a part of a group that's, that forward thinking. It took 25 years to maybe take shape, but we're seeing that. Thankful that we had some members of council there. Councilor Cribbins accepted on our behalf. It's a great little plaque. I should have brought it in. It's kind of fun colors. Anyways, just thankful I was able to attend that. I had a meeting today. I was part of a group of folks who were meeting with Biz Oregon. They brought a group to discuss business retention and industrial lands, and learned a lot of great stuff. I'm going to be asking staff for some assistance with some things to provide them some more information about our area so they can be thinking about, they're getting a lot of inquiries, international inquiries, and so the coast here versus the coast in another country, not much difference. Maybe there's some interest here. So don't know what that will look like, but we need to be ready with our data sets for them to be able to share that. So be working on that with them. Just a reminder, LOC conference registration is live, and it's really handy if you're interested in going, if you haven't already talked to Christine or I, to get registered so we can try and get you in a more convenient hotel than might result if we wait a little bit. So had a conversation today with developers who were here previously for the work session on Inglewood, getting some good traction there. So more to follow, but it's sounding pretty good. I have a follow-up conversation tomorrow with Northwest Housing Alternatives, kind of get their stance and see where we stand moving forward with that. And then just a reminder that I will be out Friday this weekend, actually, and Chief Chapinar is going to stand in. So that's what I have.
So we have Chief Chapinar on speed dial. Is that what you're telling us? All right, council comments. Jacob.
Yeah, I got a couple. First, I just want to say congratulations to Mr. Dillard, Wilson, and Scoville. I got to work a little bit with Mr. Scoville over at Sunset School. He would come and work with the kids and guide us teachers on crisis scenarios. So I'm happy to hear that he's retiring, but not really, because he's going to be with the school district next. So he'll be around. I also wanted to thank Kristen McGarity. About a month ago, she walked me through drinking from the fire hose at the dispatch center. So that was very cool to learn from her. And then this Friday, at the Coos Art Museum, there's going to be a show opening, and it's actually my former college art professor, Totem Shriver, doing wood sculptures. There's also going to be a skateboarding show up on the second floor as well, with some local businesses who've donated some items to show. And then one more thing, and this is more of a question of the council. For the library, I don't think there's a path set for what to do next following the failure of the bond measure. And my question was, could we do a joint meeting with the library advisory board to start coming to some sort of consensus on how to move forward? Or I don't know. I just kind of wanted to throw that out to folks to see their thoughts.
I think it's really appropriate because Jacob's correct. I mean, we're like in limbo right now. We have no direction of where to go with the library, whatever that may be. So maybe having a joint meeting, Nicole, if you think it's appropriate, with the library board, and having a discussion of how we want to move forward, because otherwise we're just going to be waiting to react. And I don't think that's a proper thing to do.
Yeah, I think that's a great option. The other piece of this, we've been talking about getting the facility steering committee back in play, but it's really a larger picture than just a facility. We're going to have to talk about capital campaign. I mean, there's a lot of elements here. And so I think maybe those two bodies of brains could get together and kind of maybe start a path that we can start working on.
Yeah, besides a capital campaign, I think that we need to have all options on the table. And so I think we should really frame it in that discussion, whether, and if it's a capital campaign, how do we try to achieve something that we failed twice at? Is that something that we can achieve or not? Or is it something that we need to look in a different direction and try to be really creative on what we do? So I think if we can put that on the table with everyone coming to the discussion with that in mind. Is that kind of covered, Jacob, what you were thinking?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, good comments. Thank you. Council, we'll continue on.
Company again?
Yeah, exactly.
No comment.
None?
Nothing.
Carmen.
I want to join in giving thanks and recognition to Bob Dillard and Jason Wilson and Robert Scoville. What an amazing amount of energy and effort and dedication that they've given to our community. And gosh, we're so lucky to have people willing to step up in that way. And it's really nice to see them recognized for all the hard work that they've done. So I just want to give my personal recognition to them at this moment. I also want to say thank you to the Water Quality Division for making things happen with the outfall and kind of avoiding major issues down the line, and just, being problem solvers. That's really, really good to hear. We need that. And I think that staff in all departments has done an excellent job in that. And so it's just, I really respect that dedication. And then on kind of the community comment, I just wanted to remind everybody that the Oregon Coast Music Festival has begun. It began on Saturday, this last weekend, and it continues for the next week and a half or so. There's lots of stuff going on, lots of music out in our community. And if you have not attended a orchestra event at the Marshfield Auditorium ever, it is absolutely spectacular. It is something that I believe everybody in this community could find something to appreciate. It's just absolutely spectacular to see these people from all over the country come here to play for an entire week. This music that is so moving and complex, and they have dedicated their lives to it, and you can see that all happen. And it's quite an amazing thing. And then the fact that we have an amazing auditorium in our community is just another just kind of stellar thing that happens in this community. So if you get a chance, check it out. The orchestra concerts are on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday of next week. So that would conclude my comments. Thank you.
Hey, Carmen. Lucinda?
I just agree with Councillor Matthews' sentiments on Jason Wilson, Rob Scoville, and just the sacrifice that they make, that their families make as well on behalf of this community. So I just want to thank them all for that. I know we moved quickly. I wanted to thank the fire department and the city staff for all of their efforts, and the Downtown Association for all of their efforts on July 4th. I walked the streets the day after, and they were so clean, and the fireworks display was amazing. So thank you to staff and the Downtown Association for all the wonderful wonderful activities that we had. And I had a question. I think Nicole knows I'm going to ask this question, but I know that we have a grant for defensible spaces, and I think I'm using the right terminology. And that was a grant that we had planned to use in John Toppitz Park. And I was wondering, what is the status of that? I've been asked that question a couple times.
Yeah, so we just compiled quotes from different organizations who could complete that work. I just signed on that quote sheet, and so my understanding is next steps is to come to a contractual agreement with them and get paperwork signed and get them out working. So
we imagine by August that'll be happening. Okay. Then we also had a question, Councillor Kilmer, myself, and I think you, Nicole, so maybe it got answered. A question about drones in John Toppet's Park. Do we know, I know you have to have a license to have a drone, but is there anything that prohibits someone from using a drone in our parks?
That is a great question. And we have some, I don't know if either of the chiefs, because we have drone pilots on both those teams. If you have some feedback, I don't know if you have to have a license. I guess that would be my first.
Yeah, you're supposed to be a pilot through the FAA, like all of our staff that are fly the drones are Part 107 pilots. But you can go, any type of store and buy drones, and for the homeowner, they don't necessarily have to follow those rules. They're supposed to, but they don't do that.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have.
All right, Stephanie?
Just a couple of things. Again, echoing the comments that were made about all of those fine folks that we recognized at the beginning of the council meeting. I think it's a testament to our staff when we have longevity like that, but also when they recognize that we're in good hands in the future. And that was said tonight, and I appreciate that because I always feel that way, and it's nice to hear it when it comes from internally. And also I had the opportunity to take my youngest who was visiting from Chicago. We made a stop at the boardwalk, and I had to check it out. Some comments that were made, but also wanted to show her the signage, the interpretive signage that went up, and so well done, so well put together. If you haven't had an opportunity to go down and take a look at that, and there's such a rich history in this community, culturally with the tribes that were incorporated in this, but also the work that has taken place on that waterfront forever as well. And it was just so well done. I was very proud. Proud of that. And then finally, just to mention, might as well start mentioning it now. Since we're almost to August, but Blackberry Arts Festival will be coming up August 16th and 17th in downtown Coos Bay. So put that on your calendars.
Sarah?
Yeah, we had a visitor from our sister city, Choshi. They brought crackers. If anyone would like to eat one. Okaida, who I had the pleasure of meeting when I was there, sent a nice message. Thank you to Christine for always being so responsive to those things. They were excited to learn about the jellyfish at the Coos History Museum that is named Choshi, which I actually didn't know until he shared that. So fun. He says these are really salty, but if you like salt and would like a cracker, little piece of our sister city.
Thanks, Sarah. So could you share the letter with the rest of the council? I know I received it, the interaction. If you could do that, Christine, I think it'd be nice to read and the appreciation that he has expressed. I also would like to just a few things. First of all, I think it's important that I remember SCD was formed and was impetus behind Coos Bay and during when Mayor Vercher was on this council. But it was Jeff McEwen that was really the impetus behind this. I mean, he pushed hard on it. He didn't let it go. He went to the different entities and communities and got it started. He was on the original committee and hired the first executive director, and it's continued on. So, these are the proud times that we should be aware of, that, something started and now it's successful for the whole community, just not us. It goes down to the coast and up to Florence. So anyway, it's nice to hear these things and recognized, and I'm glad you were able to attend. The other thing, the 4th of July, I want to mention that the activities in the park and the fireworks were wonderful. It's always great to have 2 fireworks here. We got them on the 3rd with the Mill Casino and also Coquille excuse me, casino and resort, also with Coos Bay. And it's great. At the park, you see the kids and the adults and they had the firecracker run, and it was wonderful, and all the different activities, and thank you for the fire department and the fish out there. They weren't biting too well. They were catching more and throwing them on the ground. But anyway, it was fun to watch. So it was a great time. Also, I want to recognize that was recognized. I just think it's important that the individuals that were, Bob Dillard, and we had Jason Wilson, and then we had Robert Schofield. We're fortunate to have this kind of staff. I think sometimes, I know that our citizens just take these things for granted, that the wonderful staff that, work day in and day out for years to provide the wonderful service that we have in all kinds of ways. So I just think it's important that they get recognized in this case, and that we don't forget what they've accomplished and done for us. Anyway, with that, I will adjourn this Coos Bay City Council meeting.